Have you ever said the right thing but got the wrong result? Maybe you had all the facts, you knew what you wanted to express, and you spoke with the best intentions, but somehow the other person didn't listen, didn't understand, or didn't respond the way you hoped. The problem, as this book reveals, is rarely what you say, it's how you say it. And that's what separates average communicators from highly effective ones. Peter Andrei, in How Highly Effective People Speak, takes us deep into the psychology of communication. This isn't another book about public speaking or just being charismatic. It's a book about power, about influence, about using your words in a way that shapes perception, inspires belief, and moves people to action. And in a world where attention is currency and persuasion is power, these skills aren't optional, they're essential. The core message of this book is simple but transformative. Highly effective people don't just speak to be heard, they speak to be remembered, respected, and followed. They deliberately shape their words using psychological principles that make their messages stick, resonate, and inspire action. One of the first ideas Andrei explores is the power of perception. How people don't respond to reality, they respond to their perception of reality. If you walk into a meeting with brilliant ideas, but speak in a hesitant, rambling tone, your audience might perceive you as unsure, and your ideas will lose impact. Conversely, someone with half your knowledge, but twice your confidence, may leave the stronger impression. The lesson? Your delivery shapes how your message is received. And that's why effective communication starts with self-awareness. Andrei gives the example of Steve Jobs, who rehearsed obsessively not just what to say, but how to say it. Every pause, every gesture, every word chosen with purpose. That's not manipulation, it's clarity, it's intention, and it's what makes people listen. The second big idea is framing. Highly effective communicators know how to present the same message in a way that highlights what matters most to the listener. Framing is not lying, it's choosing the angle that best supports your goal while aligning with your audience's values. Let's say you're pitching a project. You could say, "This will increase productivity by 12%. Or you could frame it as, "This will give each team member an extra hour every day to focus on what they do best." Same result, different impact. Framing taps into emotion, not just logic. And when emotion is engaged, decisions happen faster. Andrei points out that people don't buy ideas because they make perfect sense. They buy ideas because those ideas feel right. That's the magic of framing. Another key point Andrei emphasizes is structure. Ideas thrown together randomly confuse people. But when you organize your thoughts in a clear, predictable structure, like problem, cause, solution, benefit, you make it easier for your audience to follow you. Think of it like laying down stepping stones across a river. If the stones are scattered, people will hesitate. But if they're placed intentionally, people walk across with ease. Great speakers guide, not overwhelm. They take their audience on a journey, one step at a time. This is why storytelling works so well. It naturally follows a structure the brain loves. Speaking of storytelling, that's another major weapon in the arsenal of highly effective speakers. Andrei shows how stories are more than entertainment. They are tools of persuasion. Our brains are wired for narrative. We remember stories far more than statistics. A story of one person struggling and overcoming a challenge will resonate more than a graph showing a trend. Why? Because stories create emotional engagement. They simulate experience. They allow the listener to feel the message, not just understand it. Whether you're in a sales pitch or a tough conversation with a loved one, a personal story can often do what logic alone cannot: move someone. But even the best story won't land if you don't tailor your communication to your audience. That's the next big idea. Effective communicators adapt. They don't use the same words for everyone. They speak the language of their listener. If you're talking to a data-driven analyst, lead with facts. If you're talking to a visionary entrepreneur, lead with possibility. Andrei refers to this as mirror framing. not to imitate, but to align. It's not about losing your voice. It's about ensuring your voice is heard. Connection requires calibration, and calibration requires listening first. All of this leads to one of the most powerful and most overlooked tools in communication: silence. Highly effective speakers know when to pause. They understand that what you don't say can be as powerful as what you do. A well-timed pause gives your words space to land. It shows confidence. It invites reflection. In negotiations, it can make the other side reveal more. In storytelling, it can create suspense. In heartfelt conversations, it can allow vulnerability to breathe. Speaking effectively isn't just about pushing words out. It's about creating space for them to sink in. Now, let's take a moment to reflect. Imagine how your life might change if you could walk into any room, whether it's a boardroom, a first date, or a family dinner, and speak in a way that makes people stop and listen. Not because you're louder, not because you're smarter, but because you've learned how to connect, how to frame, how to tell stories, how to adapt, and how to listen with silence. That's what this book is offering, not a list of tricks, but a mindset shift. From "how do I say this?" to "how will this be received?" Peter Andrei's message isn't about sounding smarter. It's about being more deliberate. It's about recognizing that words are tools, and like any tool, their power depends on how skillfully we use them. You don't need to change your personality. You don't need to memorize scripts. You just need to understand the psychology behind how people listen, decide, and act, and use that knowledge with intention. So, here are the big takeaways. First, communication is perception, and perception can be shaped. Second, framing changes everything. Don't just say it the way it needs to be heard. Third, structure creates clarity. Organize your ideas. Fourth, stories create emotional connection. Use them generously. Fifth, adapt to your audience. One size never fits all. And sixth, pause. Sometimes silence says more than words. If you've ever felt frustrated that your words didn't land or that people didn't seem to get you, this book is a game changer, because being a highly effective communicator isn't about talent, it's about technique, and technique can be learned. So the next time you speak, whether it's a big moment or a quiet one, remember, every word you choose, every pause you take, every frame you use is either building connection or weakening it. Speak not just to inform, but to transform. That's the real art. And that's what highly effective people do every single time they open their mouths. If this resonated with you, I highly recommend diving into the full book. There's so much more to explore: specific strategies, psychological studies, and breakdowns of real-world examples. And if you enjoyed this summary, don't forget to subscribe for more deep dives into books that help you grow in how you think, how you speak, and how you lead. Until next time, speak with intention and watch the world respond differently.